50 school children who are part of a mass abduction in Nigeria's Niger state have escaped captivity. The escapees were among 303 pupils and 12 teachers initially seized by gunmen from the St. Mary's School last Friday. The children, aged between 10 and 18, managed to escape and have since been reunited with their families. Despite this positive development, the majority of the victims are still being held captive. Let's unpack this with senior researcher at Good Governance Africa, Malik Samuel. A very good afternoon to you, Malik. Thanks very much for your time. What is behind the resurgence of this phenomenon?
I don't know if you can hear me. The volume is low.
I can hear you loudly and clearly.
Okay, can you repeat the question, please? Sorry.
I was asking what's behind the resurgence of this phenomenon this time around?
I think it is nothing new. Nigerians are used to spikes like this every now and then. So the issues or the causes still remain the same. The lack of security in a lot of remote communities, especially where these schools, are operating. So it is basically the absence of state protection, in a lot of remote communities. So that is basically why we're seeing the spike. So it is not for Nigerians. This is not new. We've been here several times before.
But who are the people behind it, and what is their end game? What are they about?
For this particular abductions, we strongly think the bandits are behind at least one of the abductions, because there are 2 abductions in less than 2 weeks, all in schools. The first one involved 25 students in Kebbi State. Now, that particular attack, sources have told us that these bandits are responsible for this attack. And for bandits, the motivation purely is money making, is to extract ransom from parents, or most especially from the government. And we also believe the second abduction is also for the same purpose. So the end game here would be to extract money. And whenever there are mass abductions like this, government usually intervenes, even if during the negotiation, because of the pressure, the media scrutiny, and all that. So the government involving itself means these bandits can't squeeze as much money as it can or as it wants, from the government. So it is basically about criminality.
Is there anything being done by the country's law enforcement agencies?
Well, the government says it's trying to locate the hostages or the abductees. And like you mentioned earlier, 50 students were able to escape, from the second abduction. So it is hoped that there will be clues, from this escaped student, to point the security agents in the right direction. But we also know from sources on the ground that there are active military operations, especially in the forest in Zamfara, to try and locate the student from the first abduction. And also another attack that happened less than 3 weeks ago in Kwara State. Those involving over 30 residents in the state. Those have also been released. The information we have is that they were released as a result of a joint security operation, to locate them. So according to the government, there are actions being taken to try to locate them. But what Nigerians are saying is, in the first place, this should not be happening. We don't need to get to this point. And then here, government say they're doing something to try to retrieve or to rescue the abductees.
And then enter Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, who has threatened military action against Nigeria over what he has described as targeted killings of Christians. How is this being viewed in Nigeria?
It's the response or the reception to President Trump's comments have been mixed. There are people who said, yes, the U.S. should come in and save Christians. But majority of Nigerians are saying whatever the U.S. plans to do. If the U.S. wants to come in, if the U.S. wants to support the Nigerian government, it must be to deal with the perpetrators of this insecurity and end insecurity as a once and for all, because everyone is affected. It is not just one religious group that is affected. Yes, there are people being killed because they are Christians, being targeted for their faith. But when you look at the dynamics of the insecurity in Nigeria, generally it is not right, it is not accurate to say this insecurity particularly is targeted at a particular religious group. So the view by Nigerians is that this rhetorics like this is not helpful, because it has the tendency or the potential, to cause more harm than good, in the country.
Malik Manuel, let me thank you very much for your time. Senior researcher at Good Governance.